Starting our list off at number 10, the red door. Okay, if you're a fan of Haunting of Hill House, this first one here should tickle your fancy. Here we go. I'm terrified already. This is some hospital footage because, you know, why not? This video starts off with a flickering light, but as the person filming walks down the hallway, the door at the end begins to open and close repeatedly. Like this, check it out. Now, once they reach said red door that was opening and, you know, slamming shut, they realize nothing is there and it doesn't really go anywhere. The door just leads to pipes, like water supply pipes in case of emergencies, you know what I mean? So they're inspecting it to see what have caused the opening and closing when they began to hear banging coming from another door further down the hallway. And then, of course, like Looney Tunes, they go and check out that one as well. When they check it out, they find nothing and nobody. Honestly, you guys, when I saw the door at the end, when it didn't lead anywhere, I was upset. I was like, oh, someone's faking it. Maybe someone's there, you know, doing something on the other side. Nope, just terrifying. There we go. Number 9, Bigfoot caught on tape. This video is said to have caught the Russian Bigfoot himself. Also, Russian Bigfoot, another Bigfoot, are there many Bigfoots? We'll talk later. The exact location of where this video was taken is still unknown. In fact, there isn't a ton known about this video at all, hence why it's on our list today. But what we do know is that it was taken somewhere in Russia and that people believe it captures the real Bigfoot. It's a short clip that captures him, so I'm just gonna show you guys and then you can decide for yourselves. Comment down below. I don't know, I'm kind of on the fence personally. If Bigfoot was real, it's time we pay up. I mean, come on. This man's image has been used in the media for years. How is he paying his bills? Also, is there one Bigfoot or multiple? Is there a Russian Bigfoot? Is there a Canadian Bigfoot? Is Chris the Canadian Bigfoot? I don't know. Maybe. He wears a lot of plaid, who knows? Number 8, Matt doesn't live here. Okay, this one I need your help on. There's a backstory that I need to figure out right now. Back in 2016, in the middle of an August summer night, this man approaches. Again, topless, always a great sign, just naked dudes approaching homes all of a sudden. And he's slowly approaching and he's looking back at somebody off camera. He has a look like he's about to rob the place almost. He's doing this. He's kind of tiptoeing in and out. It's not looking good. But instead of knocking and running like we all did when we were 15 years old, he pretends to knock. He knocks the air and then pretends to ask somebody who's not there if Matt is home. I don't know if he did this so the other person could see, maybe it was like a prank or a dare, or maybe it was an attempt to break in and we just didn't really connect all the dots, or he didn't follow through with the plan, or he chickened out, I don't know. Either way, I'm glad nothing really bad happened. So creepy, either way. Number 7, Milgram experiment footage. This video comes to us from the 1960s and it's apparently from the experiment known as the Milgram experiment. Basically, the premise was that they got two groups of people, okay? One called the teachers and one called the learners. And they paired them up, one from each group. So far, so good? Awesome. The pair couldn't see each other, but the teacher would ask the learner a question. The teacher was then told to give them an electrical shock. Yeah, every question made the shocks get worse and worse until an eventual fatal shock would be administered.
It'll be 195 volts. The correct one.
Let me out of here.
Slow. Dance.
Get me out of here. My heart's bothering me.
Now, before the experiment, it was proposed that only 3% of the participants would go all the way and would actually give the fatal shock. But it turned out that under pressure, 65% of the teachers actually gave the lethal dose of electricity to their learner counterparts. Now, luckily the students were actually just actors, so nobody was truly getting hurt here, hence the experiment. But it is honestly very creepy to see on footage. We always heard about this, but seeing it happen, it does something in here that I don't really like. Number 6, TV head. Stepping away from the worst of the worst or the weird or whatever's going on in that last video, let's shine the spotlight on some, I guess, creative happenings, dare I say? Like for example, the guy wearing a TV on his head. Apparently that's a thing now. Awesome. In Toronto, we have a guy that walks backwards around the city. And then here in Virginia, they have a guy who wears a TV on their head. So back in 2019, this man would appear all over in Virginia. He visited more than 50 residents in his time, and he would show up with a TV as a head, and then if that wasn't already creepy enough, he would leave an old TV on your doorstep in the middle of the night, and then just leave. That's so annoying to move. Also, it is pretty creepy. Many believe this man was inspired by the comic book series Saga. There's a race of TV alien heads. This could be a fan of, you know, Prince Robot IV. Either way, this is annoying. You're walking on our property, you're leaving TVs. I wouldn't lift this up. Are you kidding? My brittle back? I couldn't lift a TV. I can't even lift a laptop now. Get out of here. Number 5, Salem Road. This video shows a couple guys driving in a truck down a road in what looks to be like a very rural area. It's not too bright or fun. Now they're just two guys being dudes hanging out, blasting some Coldplay, whatever you do with your dudes on the weekends. Now you know a little bit more about me. All of a sudden they come across a woman dressed in white walking down the middle of the road. So they turn down their Coldplay, probably, and they swear a bunch. Obviously they're in shock. Just a woman walking down in the middle of the road in what appears to be the middle of nowhere, and then all of a sudden these men driving up behind her. It looks bad from both point of views, know what I mean? They stop the truck and one of them gets out to go check on her to see if she's okay, because she's walking kind of, you know, ghoulish. She's got like the ghoulish walk. Now the guy continues freaking out. He's telling them to get out of there, and the other guys don't believe him until they realize that seemingly out of nowhere this lady is now right in front of their truck. Awesome, we love phantoms. The video ends with this clip. I'm not sure who or what this lady was or what's going on here, but that's all I gotta say. One of these. Number 4, overnight break-in. This next found footage comes from a doorbell camera, one of my favorites, and it shows the terrifying moment a stranger begins trying to break into a woman's home. This is my worst fear, if I'm being honest here. She starts off by backing up and throwing her body into the window until it finally breaks. Now the stranger wasn't in any immediate danger or anything like that, but it does appear as though she may be a little bit confused about her whereabouts, which is obviously sad when you look at it. The woman whose home is obviously freaked out. More than fair. I mean, imagine this happening out of the blue, middle of Survivor finale. You're like, what's that sound? What is that? Yeah, that ought to be jarring. Eventually, a police officer showed up and spoke to the woman who claimed that her friend was in the house. Now, obviously, this was not the case, but this is why I believe she may have been a little confused as to where she was. In the end, it just so happens that alcohol had a little something to do with it, so everyone was okay. It was just a rough night. You know what I mean? Number 3. Chernobyl footage. Okay, this one comes to us from the later 1980s when there was a nuclear disaster in Chernobyl, obviously. I don't have to go into detail about this one. In April of 1986, there was an explosion and a fire taking place at the Chernobyl nuclear power plant. This explosion happened when there was an issue and they were trying to begin an experiment which was set to actually make the reactor more safe, but in turn it didn't work out. Unfortunately, the way the reactor was designed placed too much responsibility in the hands of an operator. One thing led to another, and it was this huge, tragic disaster. The amount of radiation in the air caused alarms at the Forsmark nuclear power plant in Sweden. Footage I'm about to show you is just a small glimpse into what things looked like soon after this took place. I can't imagine how scary this must have been for everybody involved. Even watching it is disturbing, to be honest with you. Chernobyl today is still pretty much a ghost town, but there are people who live there. Some of them never even left in the first place. Number 2, doorbell liquor. And immediately back into the weird stuff. This was one of my favorites, I have to include it. This one's short and sweet, not much explaining to do here. Just a dude going up on a doorbell. Back in 2019, a man was caught on surveillance approaching a home in a neighborhood in Salinas, California. He doesn't say much, he just shows up and, well, like I said, starts licking the doorbell. Just goes to town on this button. Not the camera, the actual button, the actual doorbell itself. He rang the bell apparently hundreds of times. He did this for hours straight. Now the homeowner said in a following interview after seeing the footage, "Oh boy, that is weird." Yeah, see me, I would laugh hysterically, and then after I'd be like, okay, we have to move. Number 1, overnight visitor. This video was taken from a surveillance camera that was placed inside of a couple's home. Yeah, inside, not outside, in. Having a camera inside of your home isn't too common, but sometimes you're lucky you have one. Like this example. These people had one because what it caught while they were sleeping is one of the creepiest things I've ever seen in my life. When the couple woke up one day, they were unable to find a purse that they knew was in the house before they went to go to sleep, right? They're like, well, this is pretty much right there next to my chapstick. I know where my chapstick is. So they decided to check their handy security camera, and this is what they found. As it turns out, the couple fell asleep on the couch watching TV, and as they were sleeping there, a man crept in, and he was so quiet he didn't even wake them or their dog up. Yeah, he stood at the top of their stairs watching them sleep for a few minutes, which just adds another layer of, I'm gonna shit my pants, and then that's it, Bob's your uncle. I wouldn't even keep this tape, I would throw it out. This is cursed in itself. I'm glad the robber only took the purse and didn't do anything else. How scary is that?
Starting off on our number 10 spot, we have the school ghost. This video is one that comes to us from 2017, and it is said to be security camera footage from a school that captures a ghost on tape. The video is under 2 minutes, but it's jam-packed full of an angry ghost throwing things around, moving chairs, and making a bunch of loud, creepy noises. For this first clip, take a look at the chairs that are further down the hallway. Okay, I'm already feeling a a little unsettled. I bet the person who came into school to find their bag next to the trash can was probably pretty annoyed. For the final act of the ghost in this video, this ghost decided to rip a poster off of the wall. Honestly, I'm always skeptical of ghost videos, but there's something so eerie about this one, so I'll let you be the judge.
Number 9. Historic home tape. No, not one of those home tapes, you freaks. That's another video. This footage comes from a camera that was found at a historic home by a company that works specifically with historic homes. So specific. The footage found shows a few people just exploring around this abandoned home, checking out whatever's going on in creepy houses, you know, whatever we do on weekends. Apparently people like to explore abandoned stuff, because why not? We don't get to see what it is, but something very obvious freaks them out and they're not having it. They're scared while they're filming and then something else weird happens. Check it out.
Hello?
Now this is where the footage from one camera ends and then another camera's footage begins. There we go. It's like, here's a sequel for you. The audio is pretty distorted at parts, which kind of makes it scarier, but check out the other part as well.
No, I'm not going back.
I'm not exactly sure what happened or who these people are, but something's going on in here. You know what? I'm tapping out. Let's move on. Number 8, Barton Mansion Ghost. This video is from 2001. Somebody explored through the Barton Mansion in California because, like I said earlier, some people like doing that for some reason. This mansion is said to be the home of tons of sinister happenings, satanic rituals, paranormal activity. It's even said that a demon haunts the top floor. It's kind of cool though, demon haunting the top floor. He's like, I shot to the top bunk, and then just floats around. It's said that the night before this video was taken, a group had broken into the abandoned basement, and there they found a creepy configuration of stones surrounding a piece of meat. They came back the next day to take some more video footage of the place, and the part of the video that I wanted to show you is basically a first-person view as somebody explores through said mansion. And it's when they spot something that none of us wanted to see, and that's when all hell breaks loose. Here we go. What exactly did he see there? I have no idea. If you have any ideas, put in the comments down below because I won't be able to sleep. Great. Number 7, clown sightings. This footage comes again from another home surveillance camera, and I feel like these things always catch the creepiest happenings. I just did a doorbell camera video where the dude's licking the guy's doorbell. That's the worst thing I've seen in ages. This time, when the homeowner went to check their footage, they were greeted by an extremely creepy clown. Yeah, I'm not sure if you remember years back when there was like a clown craze. Everyone just wanted to be clowns for some reason and hang out next to the highway. That was weird. I'm hoping that's where this video comes from, but again, there's no explanation, so we just gotta dive in and wonder.
Grabs a pumpkin and then tears it apart. The clown stares awkwardly at the camera before disappearing into the darkness.
I like that the reporter commented that the clown looked awkward at the camera before leaving. Yeah, awkward. That's for sure the word I would use for this encounter. Awkward. Not terrifying. Number 6, Blockbuster Ghost. Oh, a classic. For those of you who don't know, before the age of streaming and, LimeWire, Netflix, all that amazing technology, we had to go to a store with our legs and our families. We had to put on our winter coats to go rent a movie. And sometimes we got there and there was only widescreens left of said movie. That was always the worst. You're like, I guess. I would go in and hide a video sometimes, and then come back with my family, we'd find it, and then rent it. Now, as many good memories that rest there in Blockbuster, there's also some haunting ones. This surveillance camera footage shows an employee, after closing, restocking some of the shelves in the store, and then they notice something flying off one shelf while they're stocking it. And when he finishes stocking one shelf, he moves on to the next, but one video on the shelf he just worked on immediately falls off. Okay, maybe he put the video on the shelf in a, awkward angle. It wasn't a tight 45, maybe it was one of those and it kind of slipped down. It happens. But when he walks away, it flies off the shelf again. Now at this point, I would have already dipped, I would have signed out, maybe even quit my job, who knows. But he goes back, picks the video up, and he walks away again, but this time a video on the other shelf falls down right in front of him, and then as he reaches to pick that video up, another video falls, and then a third one falls. And then he understandably runs off after that. That's just, yeah, to be honest, at that point, I would leave. I would leave after the first video fell, if I'm being honest. Number 5, witch caught on tape. I am terrified of witches. I don't like this one. Okay. This video comes from Mexico and it's said to be a sighting of a witch flying through the air. I love this video. I saw this long before I started working here and it's been rent-free, just sitting right in there. I don't like how slow she's going too. Like, she's not in any rush. The people who recorded the video said they could see the figure wearing a cape, which is why of course we all assume that it's a witch. And also, she's flying through the air, so there's that too. Just to add another layer of to this already kind of weird video, police officers from the area also explained that they had seen some sort of witch-like creature before this footage was even captured. They said they saw some sort of creature dressed in all black with huge claws, and it had their head hanging down low. Like, imagine a police officer, I'd be like, what, go get that thing then. What are you talking about? Is that a gargoyle? I've seen Lord of the Rings. Can we close the city? That's terrifying. That's a demigorgon. Number 4, creeper in the back. Not creeper in the front. That's a different video. This is creeper in the back. Here we go. With so much of the world working from home and needing to do Zoom calls all the time, and now we're just comfortable and no one wants to go back to the office, so we're just gonna keep doing it forever, I guess. After you see this clip, you're gonna be looking over your shoulder every time you're in a meeting in the future. Yeah, you don't want anything like that creeping around your house at any point. When you're looking or not looking, honestly. The sad part is that guy looked like he was having a good time. Maybe he got a promotion on this Zoom call, you know? Whatever was going on, he was loving it until, you know, the scary demon apparatus cloud monster thing appeared, of course. Then it kind of went downhill. Now I don't know what the aftermath is of this video, so if you want peace or sleep tonight, I can't help you. I'm not the guy for you. I just report the videos and go, that's scary, next. Number 3, the clip. This is a video that's titled Clip 95 MP4, and after watching it, honestly, I'm good with the other 94, to be honest. I wish I could explain to you guys what's going on in this video, but again, like the rest of them, I have no idea. That's why I included them. They're really baffling. It's a weirdly put together VHS tape, montage, whatever, that features some strange looking people in masks. A weird thing that maybe looks like a clock, and then a whole bunch of, it's just bad vibes. You know, Chris, just bad vibes going on. It's just not the mood for us. I don't know what's going on, but I don't want to find out, again, like the rest. I don't know what's going on with the clock symbolism here either. It's very specific. I feel like I'm late watching this video. Like I have like the anxiety going on now. Number 2, the chair. Not to be confused with the WWE wrestling move, the chair. This is way less fun, this one. I grew up watching the big comfy couch. I love comfy couches and comfy chairs. I'll sit on both all day long. A rocking chair as an adult, I'll be asleep in minutes. I love this. Except for when it's haunted and it just rocks by itself. Then in that case, I don't want to buy that, no thank you. This is a video of exactly that. It's a chair that is said to have been purchased, used just a couple of days prior, and let me tell you, I hope they kept a receipt. My grandma had a rocking chair, and she said that it would move on its own from time to time. Isn't that terrifying? My grandma told me that when I was like 8. And finally, number 1, VHS for sale. This VHS tape was found at an estate sale that was being held in a barn. Now the person who uploaded this tape found them in 10 boxes that they had purchased, amongst, you know, other things such as records, rusted tools, old paint cans, just borderline garbage, and they're like, ah yes, I'll paint it a different color and sell it for $1 more. And then, you know, sure. This video shows somebody walking through some sort of mildly wooded area in the daytime, which, okay, yeah, fine, that's all great and dandy, but then it cuts to a night scene immediately, and that's when the uncomfortable feelings start to rise up. That's when I feel like I'm gonna throw up on my keyboard watching this video. I have absolutely no idea what the white thing being dragged is, but hey, guess what? I don't want to find out.
This chilling list begins with Israel Keyes in at number 10. Israel Keyes was captured in October of 2012 because he was suspected of kidnapping and murdering a teenage girl from Alaska. While he was interrogated for hours and hours, he revealed a lot to the investigators.
Smart, I would let them come to me. Just remote area.
He admitted to committing a bunch of violent crimes that started as early as 1996. He confessed to killing at least 8 people. He was being held in custody as he waited for his trial to start, but it didn't give police insight into the other killings that he confessed to.
In our number 9 spot today, we have Satan's Bridge. This video comes from someone who took a video searching around a place called Satan's Bridge. It begins with someone showing a bunch of animal carcasses that have just been left around from possible sacrifice ceremonies that may have taken place in the area. He continues to search the place and ended up recording some footage that I think does an amazing job at capturing the bad vibes that this place holds. I wish I could know all of the stories that this bridge holds, but I feel like it may be for the best that they remain hidden from all of us. This guy filming finds some more evidence of things that could point to satanic rituals being held, and honestly, I'm impressed that he was able to stick around exploring for so long, because I would have been out of there immediately. In our number 8 spot today, we have The House. This creepy video starts out with some people driving down a dark, lonely road, which is how all terrible things start. They pass this house that seems to be abandoned and the only one in the area, and it's nighttime with no lights, so the house is obviously dark. The people in the car, as they drive by, shine a light at this dark abandoned house just to see what they can, I guess, and that is when something appears. What was that? A ghost? A demon? A real actual person? At this point, I'll probably never know, and to be honest, I think I'm okay with that. In our number 7 spot today, we have the dark web. The people who posted this video explained that they received coordinates on the dark web. When they traveled to the coordinates, they found this tape that we're going to be talking about, as well as a collection of other things, all said to belong to a killer. I feel like this tape would have still been creepy without knowing the backstory, but it is 1,000 times creepier having those details. The video is fairly long, and while not a lot happens in it, there is certainly something sinister going on. It's basically just a video of a guy digging a hole with a shovel. We hear him in his car as he arrives at the location, we hear him digging, and you can even see him picked up an object wrapped in a black garbage bag and put it into the hole. You can't really see him. In fact, you can't see much, but there's definitely enough to know something's going on. All I have to say is I really hope that this video is fake. In our number 6 spot today, we have The Cabin. This creepy video was apparently filmed in 1988 and was found in a scary abandoned log cabin deep in the forest in Poland a few decades later. The footage shows whoever is operating the camera walking around filming the log cabin. They end up getting to an open window and are kind of focused on it and studying it when all of a sudden, out of the blue, it just snaps shut. At the same time, a paranormal sounding yell can be heard, but no one is around, and then the camera goes blank. Exactly sure what happened here, but I would have been out of the cabin as fast as I could possibly go. Like a cabin in the forest and there's yelling. Ugh. In our number 5 spot today, we have The Summoning. This video comes from 2001 and shows a group of teenagers who are trying to summon a spirit while, of course, recording it for the camera. They start in a circle, all holding hands with their eyes closed, and one of the friends is in the center of the circle. They're trying to get the spirit to contact them through the friend that's in the middle of the circle, but things start to go awry when one of the friends holding hands in the circle collapses. At first, his friends think that he's just playing around with them, but then he starts convulsing and everyone gets extremely freaked out. After he gets up from the floor, he's not only acting scary, but his posture has certainly changed, and everyone else who is there is rightfully extremely scared.
Opa, não toque, caraças, diz. Olha as costas dele, meu.
The video shows the rest of the boys being super frightened by their now possessed friend's scary behavior, and they're trying to figure out what to do. By the end of the video, their real friend has luckily come back to them, but he doesn't remember anything that happened. In our number 4 spot today, we have Paraguay. This footage comes from Paraguay. It was taken on a camcorder that had some spots filmed over by other family members. The audio and the video ended up getting blended and corrupted, and just left us with this footage that looks like it could be straight out of a horror movie. Because it's so messed up, I really don't know what is going on, but I'll show you some of the video so you can see what I mean. I don't know why, but that one kid who looks like they're sitting on top of the roof really freaks me out. In our number 3 spot today, we have the creepy Croatia video. This video comes from Croatia and starts with just 2 young men, one filming and one who's in the shot. Quickly, the one who is filming sees some strange figure watching them. They don't seem freaked out at first and are honestly kind of laughing about it.
Ne, pišu, kaj radi? Sam stoji.
Vamo dalje mi.
Kaj radi samo?
Pa nemam pojma.
Dobro, ne vezi, aj,
The figure quickly gets even closer to the guys, and they still honestly seem unbothered, even though I am basically screaming at the screen for them to run away.
velika. Au, Isuse Bože.
Ček, to je li to ono opet?
To ono liko je piše.
Dobro, daj.
Koliko? Korak.
Nemam pojma, daj ga.
Just the way that this thing walks is enough to freak me right out. When the boys finally begin to run away, the thing continues to follow them and is now standing fully straight up.
Snimaj, sad nemoj
Da.
pobjeći. Kaj radi se, Bože? Kaj radi?
Ne znam. Ej, jel si ti u redu, onak?
Oprosti, ali vam treba pomoć.
The worst part about this disturbing video is the fact that the description says that the 2 men in the video haven't been seen since that day. In our number 2 spot today, we have MeatSleep. MeatSleep was a YouTube channel that uploaded extremely creepy videos that people thought were depicting some pretty horrible acts. The videos and their titles would include clues, and people would spend days trying to find all the secret hidden messages in the video. One day, MeatSleep uploaded a video that was called No More and explained that there would be no more videos and all of the other videos were deleted. Someone made a YouTube channel dedicated to re-uploading their videos, and I wanted to show you guys a clip of one of them because, oh my goodness, they're so scary. Before I show the clip, just a heads up that this one is kind of flashy and almost like strobe light-like, so just please proceed with caution on this one because I want you to be safe, okay?
You live here. I let you live here. I gave you a home. Now you live here. You're ungrateful. You live here. I took.
Do you guys see what I mean? So strange and so creepy. It turns out that 11 people from different countries were actually behind this channel, but I honestly don't know much more beyond that. In our number 1 spot today, we have the barber shop. This video comes to us from some CCTV footage that was taken from inside of a barber shop. Basically, it starts off completely normally. Someone's getting a haircut, the other employees are chilling, it's a regular day, no worries, that is, until one of the employees sees one of the capes that is laid over the chair move. This is what caused the employees to go back and look at the tape, and that is when they realized all of the things that moved, but that they just didn't see. For this clip, keep an eye on the cape that's blue. If you're like me, you're probably wondering when someone's gonna notice.
Oh, hell no. Hell no.
Yeah, he noticed, and he had the exact same reaction I would. For this last clip, it's the creepiest one yet in my opinion. I'm not gonna tell you what to look for, I'm just gonna let you enjoy it and find it on your own.
Can we put the security tape back
number 10, we have Truck On. In May 2018, a fire chief in East Jordan claimed that a security camera took this image of an angel flying over his truck. Glenn Thorman said that CCTV caught an angel flying over his vehicle and then disappeared out of frame. He said, "That's an angel," and I was just blown away. The Jordan River's Facebook page shared the image and said, "These photos have not been altered in any way. The second photo, the security camera also shot because the angel was moving away. The camera is designed to photograph anything in motion or unusual. Lots of tears today when they opened the security on their camera." Wow. Some skeptics are saying it's a moth nearer to the camera and that the picture lacks depth perception, but others are straight up convinced it's an angel.
Up next, number 9, we have Edwards.
Murder committed there in Geauga County, and I'm responsible for it, and I am wanting the death penalty.
Between the years of 1977 and 1996, he murdered at least 5 people, but it is suspected that he killed several more. There are even theories that link Ed Edwards to a variety of famous crimes. He was even suspected of being the Zodiac Killer, or that he was the Golden State Killer. He was sentenced to death after he confessed to killing at least 5 people, but he died in prison of natural causes a month later. But as you saw from the clip, he wanted the death penalty because he couldn't get killing out of his mind. David Zinke makes his mark in at number 8.
Look up. She said, "Up where?" I said, "Up there." When she looked up, I broke her neck.
Okay. How did you do that?
Just snapped her with your hands, yeah.
This guy was seriously a sadistic killer. He had confessed to tying a young woman to a tree in a cemetery, breaking her neck, and slicing her spinal cord to ensure that she wouldn't live. Investigators said that this killing was an unspeakable act of violence. So after his confession, he was convicted of capital murder and sentenced to death by lethal injection. In his final statement before death, he said that death by lethal injection is better than spending the rest of your life in prison. He also apologized to the victim's family and said that he hopes his execution will bring them the peace and satisfaction they seek. He was just a twisted and sick individual, and I think I'm glad they gave him the death penalty. Gerard Murray stabs his way into this list at number 7.
Shot once, missed. Shot a second time, hit. He was driving 10-15 miles an hour, so it was rather slow. Ran around the hood of the car. I heard him gurgling, so I shot him again and then shoved him down in the ditch.
Gerard Murray also told the investigators that he wanted to show what it felt like to kill someone, and just hours after he confessed to the brutal murder, he was arrested in 2012. He was charged with first-degree murder after he shot his college classmate, General Sanchez, who was 18 years old at the time. In one of his other statements, he said to the court that he doesn't know when he might hurt someone again, and that he always thinks about hurting someone else. He also told the judge that he doesn't feel any remorse for killing, but he was found not guilty because of insanity. Michael Hernandez brings us to number 6. He was a teenager who was sentenced to life in prison for brutally stabbing one of his classmates, and this occurred at a middle school. He was only 14 years old when he committed the murder, and there was a ton of evidence presented at the trial that showed he was obsessed with becoming a serial killer.
I took the knife out and I proceeded to slit his throat.
Did Jamie say or do anything? Did he put up a struggle?
Yes, he did. He turned around after I did that. He asked me not to kill him.
However, Michael was granted a new sentencing after the US Supreme Court in 2012 banned automatic life terms without the possibility of parole for minors convicted of murder. So what does that mean? His case will be under the judicial review, which means he has the possibility of being released from prison because he would have served a total of 25 years. Okay, brace yourselves for number 5 because we have a very sadistic serial killer.
You don't feel bad about killing anyone?
Not personally, that I've personally done myself, no.
Okay, that was John Hughes. He is a self-confessed serial killer who admitted to police that he killed a truck driver in 2008, but he also later confessed to a reporter that he has killed many more people as well.
People in Mississippi, Missouri, and Ohio.
As far as the murders that I've been a part of, but there's been quite a few.
A dozen?
At least.
20?
Under.
Somewhere around the 15.
Somewhere around in there.
Is this real life right now? And if that wasn't scary enough, take a look at this.
I wouldn't advise anyone to I mean, not unless they want a lion loose in the streets.
Because you'd kill again.
More than positive.
Well, I think for the safety of society in general, he is going to be locked up for a very long time. Moving things along, in at number 4, we have Ed Kemper.
Back then, in 1972 and 73, unable to live with the fact that I just stabbed to death and cut the throat of an innocent young woman.
This man is responsible for the brutal slaying of 10 people, including his grandparents and even his own mother. He said that he engaged in many acts of necrophilia, and he said that he has even eaten flesh of one of his victims. I mean, this guy needs some serious psychiatric counseling, if that would even help him. There's probably no help for this guy. When he was a little boy, he would decapitate his sister's dolls and even stalked his 2nd grade teacher with a knife. And at the age of 10 years old, he killed the family cat, and when he was 13 years old, he did it again. This time he kept pieces of the animals in his closet until his mother found them. Those are some serious red flags, and I think it's safe to say that he was not only insane, but he was deranged as well. Robert Pickton confesses in at number 3.
Make things disappear. I don't need money more. Maybe. That's what I was stopping you for.
The serial killer Robert Pickton was filmed admitting to 49 murders to an undercover policeman, and he even said that he wanted to do one more to just make it, you know, an even 50. This is sick. In the video, you could tell that he was disappointed, that he was just one away from killing 50 people. He actually butchered his victims on his farm located near Vancouver, Canada. He would lure workers to his farm with drugs and alcohol before he murdered them and fed the remains to his pigs, or he would grind them up, mix them with animal meat, and then he would sell it to the public. Some of the women were injected with antifreeze while others were stabbed to death. He admitted that the reason why he was arrested was because he was getting too sloppy. Things get even more scarier with this next one. We have the BTK confessions in at number 2.
I put a plastic bag over his head and then some cords and then tighten it.
The BTK killer was Dennis Rader, and BTK stands for blind, torture, kill, because that was his preferred method of killing his victims. Between the years of 1974 and 1991, he killed 10 people in Kansas, and he was notoriously known for sending taunting letters to the police and newspapers that described the gory details of each of his murders. Well, after a decade-long hiatus, he began sending letters to the police in 2004, which led to his eventual arrest and guilty confession.
Strangling, either the parent broke or he broke his bonds and he jumped up real quick like. I pulled my gun and quickly shot him. I hit him in the head. He fell over. I could see the blood, and as far as I'm concerned, I thought he was down. So he's currently serving 10 consecutive life sentences at a maximum security prison in Kansas. So just in case this guy was able to live to like 1,000 years old, they got him booked in prison. He's never leaving. And now, topping this freaky list, in at number 1, we have Jeffrey Dahmer.
And his chest was bruised and blood was coming out of his mouth. He was hanging over the side of the bed. And I have no memory of beating him to death, but I must have.
He has a very morbid and long confession list that includes murder and dismemberment of 17 men and boys from 1978 to 1991. I'm not sure how something like that goes on for that long. He also liked to indulge in necrophilia, cannibalism, and he would preserve the body parts in his freezer. He was sentenced to 16 terms of life imprisonment, but he was beaten to death by a fellow inmate at the Columbia Correctional Institution, and that was back in 1994 because the inmate couldn't stand his sadistic humor. Jeffrey Dahmer is one of the most recognized serial killers because of his gruesome killing techniques. He used to drill holes in the heads of his victims while they were drugged up but still alive, and then he would pour a hydrochloric acid into their brains. Who the heck would think of doing something like this? Well, Jeffrey Dahmer did.
Starting off this countdown, we have the infamous Bigfoot. This footage of Bigfoot is the one that started this whole Bigfoot craze. If you Google images of Bigfoot, this is surely the one to pop up. So back in 1967, 2 men were creating a short film in Northern California when they ended up capturing footage of Bigfoot. In the footage, we see him walk by a wooded area. Over the years, a number of people have attempted to debunk this footage, but none have been successful. Is it possible for it to be someone in a gorilla suit? Well, at the time this footage came out, the movie Beneath the Planet of the Apes also came out. If you look at the ape costumes used in that movie and compare it to the Bigfoot video, Bigfoot looks more realistic. People claim you can actually see the creature's muscles and such. How could someone make a costume way above its time? It's not possible. Meaning, this could be evidence of a real Bigfoot.
Coming into number 9, we have the Texan experience. Danny Ferrero was driving in Texas in July 2018 when he saw something beautiful in the sky. He stopped to take a picture of his view down Highway 105 and then shared the image of the sun setting in the clouds on Facebook. The beams of light through the clouds very much looked like an angel spreading their wings, and the good people of Facebook thought so too. The image was shared on the social media platform 12,000 times. Ferrero said that the sighting came at the right time. He'd been having some family issues. He said, "God can speak to us in many different ways, and for that I'm thankful." Coming into number 8, we have angels in Mecca. A YouTube video was uploaded to the video sharing site in August 2010. Now, it was said to have been shot in Mecca in 2008. Mecca, of course, is a holy desert valley in Saudi Arabia, sacred to those of the Islamic faith. So this video is pretty blurry, but such was life in 2008. I have to admit, something strange is happening here. Perhaps it's an angel visiting one of the holiest spots on earth, or maybe it's a lens flare. You decide. Coming into number 7, we have Dark Angel or Dementor. Some people in Kitwe in Zambia were convinced that they had seen a dark angel, or an angel of death perhaps, looking over the Mccuba Mall. The dark humanoid figure appeared in the clouds with seemingly no explanation. The apparition was 100 meters long and very much looked like a Harry Potter Dementor. Dementors, of course, administer kisses of death and suck out souls, so not great. People had mixed reactions to the figure in the clouds. Some people thought it was an angel of some kind or some kind of embodiment of God, so they started worshipping it. Others were terrified and they ran away in fear. Apparently the mystery cloud hung around for around half an hour and then it disappeared. How strange. Coming into number 6, we have a guardian angel. A lot of people talk about guardian angels, benevolent forces that watch over them and protect them from harm. This is a lovely idea, but is there any proof that such a thing exists? Well, this CCTV footage from a road in China seems to offer a shred of proof. A guy on a motorbike is about to be obliterated by an oncoming truck when his guardian angel flies in at super speed and rescues him right in the nick of time. Now this does leave him very confused. He's baffled, but he's alive. So have a look at this footage and let me know what you think for yourself. The video was uploaded in September 2012 and has been watched over 11 million times. Is this proof of a higher force? Well, it turns out that actually this is a hoax. It's a viral marketing campaign for a Chinese game called Dragon Totem Girl. Makes me kinda sad. Speaking of guardian angels, it seems one showed up at a hospital at number 5. I found this image alongside the story of Chelsea Barton. Chelsea was 14 when she nearly died of pneumonia. Now her illness had reached the point where doctors recommended switching off her life support. Her mother made the unthinkable decision to follow the doctor's advice. Now it was thought that Chelsea would quickly die, but she survived the night and then began to make a miraculous recovery. One of the nurses had reported a man standing by Chelsea's door, and when her mother seemed totally baffled by it, they watched over the CCTV footage. This is what they saw. Whether or not it's just a patch of light from a particularly sunny window, or whether what you're seeing is actually the figure of an angel, one thing's for sure, what happened to Chelsea was an absolute miracle. Coming into number 4, we have the Stairway to Heaven. In July 2018, footage from Tuscaloosa, Alabama was uploaded to the internet. The video was shot on a stormy day and the camera captures the dark clouds, only there's something going on in those clouds. If you look closely, you can see what looks like 2 people walking through them. Now they don't appear to have wings, but could these be angels anyway? It seems that the footage was shot as part of a live stream and only later were the figures spotted. On YouTube, the miraculous video has been viewed 2.2 million times. Now, Alabama is a pretty religious place, and it seemed to have many people locally as well as further spread across the world totally convinced of heavenly activity. There's something similar happening in Ghana at number 3. A Ghanaian news channel reported on a strange sighting in Danzaman, Ghana. The news presenter shares the video in a segment called An Encounter with the Dead. Whatever is in the clouds looks a lot more like it has wings than the figures in the Alabama clouds, so maybe it is an angel. But also, maybe angels can choose to have wings when they want, and maybe sometimes vampires can't go into the sun, but then maybe sometimes they glitter like Edward Cullen. See what I'm saying? Coming in at number 2, we have fairies or tiny angels. Anyone watching who's roughly my age or a few years older from the UK, do you remember Goldie Looking Jane? Because I certainly do. I really enjoyed them as a teen, and you know what, who doesn't love a bit of Welsh rap at the best of times? You might be wondering what they're up to now. Well, let me tell you, spotting fairies in the garden, that's what. So John Rutledge, a member of Goldie Looking Jane, was out having a lovely walk with his dog in Newbridge, Wales, when he decided to take some snaps of the beautiful sunny summer's day. Now, if the sun is shining in the UK, especially Wales, you are going to want to capture that on camera. It turns out that John got more than he bargained for when he looked at his film. While he surveyed his pictures after his walk, he realised that he had actually captured what looked like 7 tiny winged humanoids. Now, are these little angels or are they fairies? Or are fairies just tiny angels anyway? The pop star said that ever since childhood he wanted to witness a paranormal event. He said, "The last thing I expected was a winged entity in a wood in South Wales, but there it is, smack bang in your face. It's solid evidence." Imagine him saying that in his Welsh accent. Solid. On closer inspection, the picture is seemingly legit. It does look like tiny winged people. Finally, coming into number 1, this honestly did have me convinced. We have the Russian landing. In 2016, on a live news broadcast in Russia, a bright light interrupted the host. Now, I don't know what she's saying, but maybe our Russian audience will know. The presenter seems totally shocked. Her reaction seems pretty genuine. What else could this be? We don't see wings or anything, it's just a ball of light, but it's really strange, and again, her reaction speaks volumes. Was this an actual angel caught on camera? So,
kicking off the list at number 10, Doorbell lawn camera. We'll start with a recent Doorbell cam recording, okay? Those are always terrifying. Every time I see one of these, first of all, I think of the Paranormal Activity franchise. I get so creeped out just looking at them. This video was submitted by Robert Parks. Now it shows the lawn, his front lawn, around 4 a.m. and then all of a sudden, out of nowhere, a naked man appears. That's always fun. Yeah, he was trying to cover up his, goods, or not goods rather, but given the fact that he was still, naked, it was pretty horrifying after the fact. You can't hear it because we had to mute the audio, obviously, but he's yelling about snakes being all over him. Yeah, luckily police arrived and gave the man the help he needed, but imagine somebody going through a rough time. Like, I feel bad, but you also have to stay safe at the same time. You can't have a naked dude running inside your home talking about snakes on a plane or whatever.
Coming in at number 9, we have Provo Canyon Bigfoot. In October of 2012, a group of siblings were hiking in Provo Canyon when they spotted something in the woods and began filming it. Earlier on their hike, they saw some deer and wanted to get a closer look at them, so they headed up in the direction of the deer. That's when they spotted this creature. At first they thought it was a bear, but were horrified when the creature stood up on its 2 legs. They got frightened and ran out of the area. To this day, they don't know exactly what it is that they saw, but they managed to capture it on tape.
Yeah, we probably should be too close to it, huh? How cool though. Let's go.
Moving on at number 8, we have Allegheny National Forest. In 2007, hunter Rick Jacobs decided to mount a wildlife camera to a tree in Allegheny National Forest, Pennsylvania. The camera worked on a motion sensor and would take photos when triggered. He had hopes of capturing photos of bears, deers, and other wildlife. Little did he know that he was about to capture evidence of Bigfoot. So on September 16th, 2007, upon reviewing the photos on the camera, he discovered a creepy picture of what appears to be Bigfoot. However, skeptics believe that it's an image of a sick bear. But the way that it's hunched over with its back leg extended makes it look like Bigfoot. In our 7th spot, we have Marble Mountain Bigfoot. If you are a Bigfoot enthusiast, then this is another well-known sighting to you. In June of 2001, a group of teens and a leader, part of a youth group called Campus Life, were camping at Marble Mountain. The group ended up finding a weird den made out of twigs and large branches. Then shortly after, the leader, Jim Mills, noticed a weird-looking creature moving nearby. He filmed it for 7 minutes. To this day, this is the longest video footage of an alleged Bigfoot sighting. Experts have analyzed the footage and have agreed that it's not a human, and that the creature is 9 feet tall. When the Bigfoot noticed the group of people watching it, it began jumping up and down, screaming, and then it pushes a tree. It was just probably trying to scare off the onlookers. Making our way down the list at number 6, we have Lake James Bigfoot. Back in late 2019, a man named John Bruner and 3 other men went on a boat late at night scouting an area on Lake James. Apparently that night fishermen had seen something watching them from the shore, so these folks went out to investigate. That's when they started to hear weird noises coming from the cove. They turned off the boat's motor and used their night vision cameras to scope out the area. That's when they saw Bigfoot and got 121 pictures of it. The creature was estimated to be around 7.5 feet tall. At one point they claimed that the creature was just standing, swaying back and forth while watching them. After 5 minutes, the creature walked away. But again, like all photos of Bigfoot, these photos are terribly blurry. All 121 of them. We are now at our 5th and halfway mark with Webcam Bigfoot. Bigfoot just keeps blowing its cover. Now it seems like he doesn't care if he gets caught. Also, let me say that Washington State is notorious for Bigfoot sightings. There have been tons of sightings over the years, so Bigfoot must have a home somewhere around there. Anyways, this time Bigfoot was caught on the Department of Transportation's webcam. The webcam was located on Sherman Pass on State Route 20. It caught Bigfoot crossing a mountain pass. Then you see it lurking behind some trees by the road. Whatever it is, it looks massive and hairy, just like Bigfoot. In our 4th spot, we have the Russian Bigfoot. Bigfoot is said to mainly live in Canada and in areas of the US, but this video may prove that Russia is also home to Bigfoots. So this footage was shot back in 2016 and features Bigfoot chasing a car. In this video you can see a black blob appear in the distance, only to then start coming closer and closer to the car filming it. I mean, the creature moves pretty fast since it manages to catch up with the car, which keeps driving away from the creature and then stopping to get more footage of it. At one point in the video, the girls are yelling to close the window and can be heard saying, "He's coming, he's running." Apparently, the creature actually jumped onto the car and broke the glass, but obviously they were not recording when that happened. So yeah. Apparently, Bigfoot in Russia are super aggressive. Also, is the plural of Bigfoot big feet or Bigfoots? I don't know. Big feet. In our 3rd spot, we have the Curious Children. In January of 2013, 3 Russian children were out playing in the snow when they stumbled upon Bigfoot. This case was actually featured on an episode of National Geographic. So the kids were out following a pair of footprints to the edge of a frozen lake. Along the way, they are laughing and joking around. That's when they see a tall, dark, hairy figure in the distance. When the creature spots them, it turns and runs away super fast. The kids get scared and run away as well. They described to National Geographic that the creature was tall and covered in hair, except it had no hair on its face. The children and their parents all believe that they spotted a real-life Bigfoot. Coming in at number 2, we have the game camera, another Bigfoot sighting in Washington State. In attempts to catch a supposed Bigfoot that had been lurking around the area, they set up a game camera hidden in a fake rock. They did this as a way to trick Bigfoot. The camera and rock were set up in a man's yard, who claimed he saw Bigfoot lurking there 9 months earlier. Well, they did capture something alright. If you look at the photo, it just kinda looks like a blurry mess, not gonna lie. But they believe that it shows an eye with wrinkles above it, part of a nose bridge, part of another eye, and a forehead. In fact, this image matches the eyewitness drawing of the creature. The photo from the game camera was placed on top of the drawing, and it lined up almost perfectly. Pretty creepy if you ask me. And in our number 1 spot, we have 911 Bigfoot. This next sighting is so creepy. A man calls 911 saying that a tall dark figure is in his yard. In fact, the full actual call is online available to be listened to. So the call occurred in Washington State, aka Bigfoot Central, back in 1996. The man on the phone tells the operator that someone or something is crawling in his yard. He says that his sensor light came on and he saw something run across the yard. When the operator asks him to describe it, he says that it's a good-sized man or something that looks like a man. Then he says that the creature is about 6'8" and is really big. He also tells her that the night before his dog was killed in his yard. Then out of nowhere he starts panicking, telling the operator to send someone immediately. A week later, the sheriff's office got a picture of what seems to be Bigfoot lurking in his neighbor's yard.
911, what are you reporting? With someone or something crawling around out here. Do you see what person or an animal or? I can't tell. All I know is my sensor light came on and I just happened to glimpse and see this thing running across the yard.